Hi everyone, welcome to the class B2B class. Today we will be discussing about a new unit and we will be talking about marketing research in the business to business segments. We know what is marketing research and we know what is B2B markets, but how is the marketing research different in the B2B market in comparison to the B2C market is of importance and is of interest to us. Let us look at this slide. What it talks about is the dangers of being customer led. Now, you must have heard about many stalwarts from the corporate, the industry, who have said that many a times the customers even do not know what they want, right? So, companies like Apple, companies like Sony have been always leaders in the market by providing something to the customers which they had not even dreamt of or thought of. Okay. So, what it talks about is customers are notoriously lacking in foresight. So, they do not have that foresight. So, they do not know what they want, and meeting only the articulated needs sometimes is of no use, and it is a very small opportunity that we are catering to. Now, let us look at this. The customer needs either are articulated, that means the customer articulated means the customer knows about it and he can speak about his problem, right. Unarticulated means something the customer is unaware of his problems. And similarly, the types of customers are either served, that means we have already served those kind of customers or markets, and something that we have not served. Now, if you look at the four quadrants, there are customer needs unarticulated and the market is served. So, here the market is served and what is happening here? Articulated. So, today's business. So, we are into this business where the customer tells his problem and we are serving him. But if the customer has not articulated or not spoken about his needs and problems, and if we are able to serve him, that is a opportunity for us. Okay. But what about the situation where the customer has not articulated his problem, unarticulated, and we have not served this? So, this is an opportunity which we can avail. So, this is an opportunity, big opportunity. And there is also a possibility that the customer has said something that he needs or he wants, but we are yet to design a product or service for them. And this is also we will try to cater to such a market. So, this is maybe possibly the first market which we will cater to, then we will look into these two, right. But all the three are still, we can say in one way, they are unserved markets or they are markets where the opportunity is still lying big. So, what is basically what we are trying to say here is that when marketers tend to serve to customers and only those customers who have been able to speak their problems or define their problems well, in that case it consists of a very small portion of the market. But there is a large opportunity available where the customer is yet to tell his problem or yet to understand his problem, but the marketer can still look at his problem, identify the situation and understand and then develop a product or service for them. So, that this creates a lot of opportunity for any marketer. Now, why should we do research first of all? Now, the need for research is, if you look at these two points, these two groups. Now, one of them is, today the marketing window has become very shortened, right. So, the life cycle of a product has become very short, the time you have to reach the market is very short, because by the time you reach the market your competitors are also coming up with something new or some substitute products might also come into the marketplace. So, short life cycle, short marketing windows and high risk of development, right. So, many products have been there which have been developed, but they have failed in the market. And in fact, if you look at the kind of success ratio, maybe out of 100, maybe 5 to 10% products are only successful, the rest are not. Okay. 46% resources are devoted to failed or cancelled products. Now, this was some research value outcome which I have taken. So, almost 50%, half of all the resources that are used for developing new products fails, and when you launch a product, not more than 25% succeed, and that is a very high number. So, actually it can range anywhere between 5 to 10%, that too also on a very positive note. So, what we are trying to say here is that in case of such difficulties, it becomes very important for marketers to realize that they cannot gamble, they cannot take risk on a product on basis, or they cannot decide the fate of a product on basis of their gut feeling, right. So, a marketer cannot say I feel it would be successful and he cannot launch a product then. The marketer has to be more or less sure. Now, how he can be sure? He can be only sure when he understands what the customer needs. If he can understand what the customer needs and then produce a product or service for them, the chances of such products and services to succeed is much more in comparison to when you do not do a research, do not identify the needs of the customer and then simply launch a product, right. It is not that without research there has been no products which have been successful, and it is not also true that all researched products are successful, but it is, as we go with preparation into the examination hall thinking that we have done our preparation well, we have read all the chapters well and we have come to the exam. But there might be still a few questions that you cannot answer, right. But it does not mean that you will completely say that there might be questions which I will not know. So, what is the point of reading? So, let me go with whatever I know. No, that is not the right way. So, we need to come prepared, and that is what preparation is about research. Okay. Let us look at this case of Nippon Audiotronics. Now, what happened? Now, Nippon Audiotronics Limited, or the marketers of Kenwood audio equipment, used market research to find a foothold in the car audio equipment market in India. So, Nippon commissioned a comprehensive research and study of the market and the consumer needs and found that car accessories were high involvement products. So, Indians were highly involved when they purchased any car equipment. Okay. Once they get linked to the brand, they not only repeatedly buy the same, but also influence others. So, the habits of Indians are, we are very emotional people. So, we get linked to a brand, we get very emotional with the brand, and we also tend to influence our friends and relatives to purchase that particular brand. Nippon found that the moment you sit in someone's car and see a brand of car stereo, it subliminally records in your mind. That means subconsciously it stays in your mind. Okay. All these factors made Kenwood, the company, right, go in for a strategy of tackling the OEM market. So, they thought, let us have a particular strategy for the OEM market. The OEM is the original equipment manufacturer, that means the car company, right, like for example Maruti or Hyundai, anything, that the one who is making the car. Their first order was from Maruti Udyog Limited, where it started marketing all cars in the C&D segment, the family segment, with built-in stereo. So, they had a tie-up with Maruti and they made some kind of a negotiation, and they said we will have a built-in stereo facility, because they realized that if once the car owner purchases car with this built-in Nippon audio equipment, then automatically anybody who would sit on that car or use that car, he would also have a good feeling about that particular brand, and they might also try to, or they might also purchase that. So, this effect that they had seen through market research helped Nippon or Kenwood to understand the consumer psychology and thus improve their market share in the Indian market. Okay. And they expanded their ranges in India. So, this tells that once you understand the habits of people, it becomes very easy for us to develop a product or market a product. Now, when you talk about get into market research, before that we need to understand what is market information system. Now, market information or marketing information system, as the name itself suggests, is that here you are trying to develop or get certain information or determine certain information which helps you in the decision making process. Okay. So, it consists of people, equipment and procedures to gather, sort, analyze, evaluate and distribute needed timely and accurate information to marketing decision makers. So, marketing decision makers, in order to make decisions, for example, somebody wants to launch a promotion, launch a new service, or launch or change the price of a product, or make some some change in the channel, anything. If you want to make any change, so it has to be backed by sufficient decision, right, a proper decision backed by sufficient, let us say, information from the market. Now, it relies basically on three things. One, the internal records, that means whatever the information the company has internally. Second is the marketing intelligence system, and third is marketing research. Now, what is marketing intelligence system and what is marketing research? Now, when you talk about marketing intelligence system, it is that intelligent system which helps you in gathering information, the day to day information from the market. Okay. So, this updated information, this continuous flow of information helps us to make everyday kind of decisions, tactical decisions. Okay. For example, if every Friday or every Wednesday, let us say, Domino's finds out that people, given an opportunity, they would a free, or some 1+1 free. So, people, the sales is increasing, and that is also helping in improving their brand image. Okay. So, this information is helpful for Domino's, or let us say any pizza manufacturer. Through this updated information, they can make their weekly or monthly plans. Okay. But on the other hand, marketing research is, although these two terms are interchangeably used, but slightly different, in the sense marketing research is more long term oriented. It is helpful in understanding the psychological condition, the behavior of customers, the trends in the market, which helps the marketer to take decisions for a longer term time period, right, or which helps for a long term decision making process. Marketing intelligence system more or less helps in the day to day, or more or less in the short term decision making processes, right. Otherwise, they are used interchangeably. Now, it is a set of procedures and sources that managers use to obtain everyday information about developments in the marketing environment, right. So, it can be collected through books, newspapers, trade publications, customers, suppliers, distributors, managers, and most importantly today is social media. So, from social media we can collect everyday information about how the market is responding. Okay. How to improve the quality and quantity of marketing intelligence? So, how do you improve upon this information, so that you get more refined information which helps you in adequate or proper decision making? So, training and motivating your sales force to spot and report new developments. So, what new developments are coming up in the market, how customers preferences have been changing. So, this information is very important. So, training and motivating the sales force to gather this information is one of the tasks. Motivating the distributors, retailers, and every channel member, to pass along any important intelligence, or any information is also a important task. Then hire experts to collect this intelligence through networking, tying up with different organizations, dealers, your marketing bodies and all, setting up a customer advisory panel, right, use government data sources, and then finally take feedback from people, from customers, competitors, collect information about what they feel about the product, how they are using the product, what is the type, when do they use the product. So, these informations which you see every day, which can be helpful. Let us say on a particular weekend, we find that a particular kind of soft drink is more on sales. Why? Because people want to relax, they want to have something, some food of their own taste, and they want to drink this, let us say, fruit drink or something. So, this information helps the buyers or the sellers to maybe give a special price discount or a special promotional strategy they want to adopt, so that the sales during this can become much more. Okay. Then we come to marketing research, which is defined as the objective and systematic process of obtaining, analyzing and reporting data for decision making. Now, both marketing intelligence system and marketing research, both are used for decision making, there is no doubt about it. But marketing research helps you in a more broader aspect, that means in a more for a more longer time period. On the other hand, marketing intelligence system is like every day, it is a everyday action, right, that has to be taken. Now, when you talk about marketing research, how do you do it? Now, first thing is we need to identify the problem, then formulate an approach how to deal with this problem, then find the right research design, what is the best research design to solve or tackle a particular problem. Then collect data, maybe primary data, secondary data, or whatever data we need. How do you collect this data? Then process the data and analyze, right. Now, identifying a problems, many a times as we have said, the customer may not be even in a position to understand or identify the problem, right. So, the as a supplier or as a marketer to in a B2B case, right, you have to identify the customer's problem, right, and then maybe think of a solution, and that solution itself becomes a product for you or a service for you, right. So, let us say there are two B2B firms, right, B1, B2. Now, B2 is the customer and B1 is the supplier, let us say. So, B1, sometimes it is possible that B2 does not understand how to increase its sales of, let us say, XYZ product. Now, B1 also helps in identifying the understanding the problem, and it realizes that because maybe for a certain maybe a design of the product or maybe a very important information which B2 has missed, if that can be added on the design of the product or the aesthetics, the color of the product, something, I am just giving an example, if that can be changed, then automatically the sales for B2 will become much faster. So, B1 understands this and tries to develop this product in support in sync with B2, and then they launch the product in the market, and the result is that B2 sales increases, and as the B2 sales increases, automatically the equipment that B1 was selling to B2, that also will increase because of the more demand in the B2 sales case. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics? Now, we are talking about B2B market. So, here there is an organization, here there is an organization. Now, we are talking about a relationship between these two organizations. So, what is the characteristics of the B2B market? B2C market we have done, and other my NPTEL videos are there which you can see. Now, if you see what is the characteristics of the B2B marketing research. Now, first of all, in B2B, right, I am just giving B1, B2 for just to understand. So, there are very few, this is a small universe, small sample, and the buyers are few in number, right, and they are concentrated in nature. That means what? So, there are few buyers. So, the B3, B4, you can say B5, but and they are all concentrated at more or less in a closer space. Okay. So, just giving like, so this is like a cluster, right. Respondent cooperation and accessibility is more difficult. So, the people who are who will be responding or who will be answering you if you are a researcher are people who are working in some different positions in the company. Maybe somebody is a finance manager, somebody is a production manager, marketing manager, and these people are very busy all the time, right. They are not like any end customer, a person on the street who can answer you. They are people who are already busy and they are already very responsible people. So, they have less time and they cannot share many of the information also. So, the respondent cooperation and accessibility is very difficult due to their time constraint and limited due to the working time. So, the time is less with these people. So, obviously, they can't give you too much of time. So, it is difficult to do a B2B research. Another thing that is challenging is defining the respondent. Now, why? Now, why defining the respondent is a challenge? Now, one thing is that when you talk about, let us say, I want to conduct a B2B research, right. Now, when I want to conduct a B2B research, I want to collect information from somebody in the organization. Now, who would that gentleman be? Who would that person be, right? Will that be the purchasing manager? Will be the finance manager? Will it be the the user of the product? Suppose I am a seller of, let us say, a certain machinery, right, a machinery which is being used by these companies. Now, who should I meet to understand about more about how they buy, why they buy? Because it is very difficult to know that who is the most important person who actually takes the decision. Now, as we have read earlier that in the B2B there is a joint decision making. Okay. So, joint decision making, and there is a buying center which is involved in the process. So, the question is, in the buying center there is a user, there is a decider, there is a there is a influencer, there is a gatekeeper, so many people are involved. Now, who should we meet? And in this case, first of all, let us identify who is the user and who is the decider, right. So, is the decider the finance manager, or is the decider the president of the company, or the decider is somebody who is the production head? Now, getting those information from as an outsider itself is a challenge. Understanding of technical factors is essential. So, when you do a B2B research, you need to understand the technical factors. So, that knowledge also is essential. More reliance on secondary data, exploratory research and expert opinion. So, the reliance of the reliance is more on the kind of secondary data that is available. We can read it from magazines, journals, or some social media sites, or do exploratory research to understand their behaviors, or take experts opinion. So, generally when we talk about a B2B research, we face these kind of challenges, right. It is not like you do a B2C research where the customer is a one who is just purchasing a product out of maybe impulse, or he is not bothered because it is a very low priced item for him, and he is not bothered about it, right. Here you are talking about a customer who is knowledgeable, few in number, and he is working very busy and responsible position. So, how do we gather information from such people? Now, applications of marketing research in B2B marketing. So, how does marketing research help the B2B marketers? It helps in few things, like for example, the first is determination of the market potential. So, through a proper market research study, the B2B marketer can understand what is the potential, the market potential, right. Now, if you do not understand the market potential and you develop a product or service, maybe you will not get enough buyers, and that may lead to a very difficult situation for the supplier. Then forecasting of demand, sales, cost, profit, etc. So, forecasting is also another challenge. So, marketing research helps you to understand the customer needs and preferences, that changes in the trends and all these things. So, that basically helps in better forecasting. Analyzing the competitors, how the competitors are performing, what is their benchmark of the products, what kind of what quality of products they are manufacturing, what is their how flexible they are, what is their demand capacity or demand production capacity, and what kind of logistical arrangements do they make, what are the challenges they are facing, or how they are performing better than the others. So, doing a competitor analysis also becomes a part of the marketing research. Through that we can understand. Benchmarking and deviation. So, you need to benchmark yourself against the market. So, what kind of benchmark standards you want to make, right? And whether if I am developing a new product, what would be the rate of acceptance, whether this product would be accepted or not accepted, and if it is accepted, will it have sufficient sales in the market, and how much time will it take to diffuse, or the rate of diffusion, how much time will it take to give me a break even, right. Will it be in the first 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, how much, I do not know. What are the business trend studies? So, is there some trends coming up? Is there a possibility that substitutes are coming up in the market, or even new technologies are emerging that may have a big effect on my business? And finally, on basis of all this information, the marketer can take a decision whether to extend or try to create more products in the product line, or maybe cut down a few products, pruning of products, that is called, in the product line. So, if you see that, let us say there is a particular brand of product which is doing very well, and you can maybe extend it because the brand value is being accepted. So, you can do that, Or if you see that there are 3 segments in which you are performing working, and 2 segments are doing well and 1 segment is even is giving a loss. So, it is best to identify and cut it down. So, we do not want to be in that business. You must have seen many companies sell off their business units just to maybe either focus on the ones which are doing good, or just to remove the loss making ones. Okay. So, with this I like to wind up today's lecture. So, we have today tried to just introduce ourselves into what is the marketing research, and how marketing research in the business to business market is different from that in the consumer market. So, we have understood a bit, and in the next lecture we will go a little deeper into what are the different research methods that generally B2B marketers use for their decision making process, right. So, with this I will wind up today's lecture. Thank you very much and take care.